Well, it felt like a trick. When does that ever happen? Like, when do you ever get a job where someone says, do whatever you want? You're like, they're going to trick me. And then when I saw the first season, I was like, oh, okay, they literally want me to do whatever I want. Nailed It did push my career a lot because a lot of different people watch the show and they range from like children to old people. Like truly there is no demographic for the show, which I feel like is very rare. And then I was like, oh, it makes sense. It's a bunch of adults having fun. And most adults and kids' lives are like telling them to do stuff and making them go to school and saying they can't do that, can't do this. And this is a show where adults are like, you can do that. I can roll off a table. I can eat cookies whenever I want. And it's bright and poppy. So I think that's why kids like it so much. I think there's something to like, I don't know, I'm always saying normalize being mediocre at your hobbies. You don't have to be the best. And then on this show, we celebrate people just trying. Like just trying to make something edible and something nice to look at. And that's what I love so much. Like, I love just how people are. It's like the full human condition where like, you know how you tell a friend, like, don't get back with him, it's not good. And she says, okay. And then you like blink and she's back with him and she's like, sorry about it. You just get to watch people make bad choices with cake. It's great. And I think it's a testament to our production, our casting, our crew. Like the camera operators are down to clown. Jacques Torres is so funny.
A man who can make a perfect chocolate mold, which makes me think I'm standing next to a chocolate mold. Jacques Torres. Jacques.
Just kidding.
You got me.
For Nailed It, I was so confused. I was like, oh boy, I've never hosted a show before. We had a rehearsal day, which consisted of like me standing on my mark, and they're like, and this is where you'll deliver this, then you'll move over to here, you'll deliver this, and then you'll do this, and then you'll do this. And I was like, where's the script? Is there a script? What do I say to the people? The day we started shooting, they were like, this is Jacques Torres. And I was like, hello, I did no research on you because I'm always ill-prepared for everything. What do you do? And then he like told me, and I was like, I should have looked him up. And then later when I did look him up, I was like, you were sitting next to a world-renowned pastry chef that like is a living legend. There was like a couple times where I was like, wait, am I doing this again because it was like too much or like too little? And they're like, just do whatever you want. And I was like, I just like kind of lost my mind because people kept saying do whatever you want. I was like, I don't know what that means. I've only been on sets where a director goes, try it again with a note, and they would just go, try it again, and I go, well, it felt like a trick. When does that ever happen? Like when do you ever get a job where someone says do whatever you want? You're like, they're gonna trick me, something bad, this isn't funny, I don't know. But then Jacques was laughing and I was like, okay, I'll make Jacques laugh. And then the camera operators would sometimes laugh and I'd be like, okay, they see a lot, all right, if they're laughing, I think I'm doing a good job. And then when I saw the first season, I was like, oh, okay, they literally want me to do whatever I want.
If you've ever tried to make this but ended up with this is the show for you.
Nailed it.
Go! The microwave ain't working.
Don't know how to do it.
Oh my God.
2 hours on the clock. $10,000 on the line. You better be ready, because I already started the clock. Get to bacon, go. Oh, wow. It looks like it's alive.
Can't forget the vodka.
Ooh.
Oh, boy.
It's very gooey.
And then the second season, I was like, all right, now I know what's going on, baby. And now it's just a blast. They just have so much footage because we would shoot the tops of like the challenges. And then while they're doing the challenges, we're sitting at the desk watching for like an hour and a half. And at first I was like, what? But then I'd be like, I'm bored. And then like fun things would happen. And Jacques always down to do something. And in the beginning, we had a lot more culinary people. So a lot of it would just be a lot of baking talk. And I'd be like, oh, I don't know. I just eat the cake. I don't know. And then we had more comedians. And then we really leaned into having comedians. And then we've had some musical people, and that's really great. So I think that's the only thing that they've really adjusted is like less food people, more comedians.
We have Alyssa and Harry, self-proclaimed green hippies.
That's a nice way of saying they don't shower, John.
I have no idea how out of shape I was.
Play-by-plays are very fun to do on Wipeout. We shoot that. It's like they're night shoots when we're in person. Most of it is green screen, and I don't know if I can say that. I think I can say that. And then we do the voiceover stuff later, but we are in person at the like final run, and that's wild to see in person. It's like so nuts. And Cena's so good at like calling out the action, and I'm always just like, no, oh, please make it, ow. Oh God, sometimes these people falling away where live, you're like, oh no, they gonna get up? But then on TV you watch it and you're like, oh, that didn't look as rough. Somehow TV kind of dulls it a little bit and it doesn't look as terrible. I was thinking to myself, Nicole, how have you dated anyone past 3 dates? How? And I was like, oh yeah, I tricked them. Because men seem to really love a chill girl. You know, a girl who's chill. A chill girl. And I'm not chill, I'm crazy, okay? It surprised me the length. Like, I packed in everything I thought was gonna make an hour, and then came in at like an hour 10, maybe an hour 15 or something like that. I don't remember exactly. Maybe it was an hour 10. And then I was like, oh no, I gotta cut into my jokes. And then I was like, no, I think it was better for it. Like, I think it was fine. I got rid of the stuff. Not that it was even like weak. It still got laughs, and it was just like a content choice. I had a Mark Wahlberg joke, and I was like, maybe I don't want the Wahlbergs coming for me. No, maybe I'll put it in my next special if I have a more courage. Okay, so the second show I did an encore, and I told a joke that's my favorite joke that I never tell, and I told that one, and it killed, but then didn't put it in the special. It's a pedophile joke, and a bunch of men have the same premise, but I think it's just the way I tell it that... But I did it because Sashira and Mateo were there, and they loved the joke so much, and I was like, this is a special night, I might as well say it in a suit. But the jokes that made it in, the one that I'm most proud of is, I really like the Benny story. I really love my abortion joke because I toured that everywhere. So, people in like, say, Wyoming or Arkansas or Indiana, woo, they didn't like it. But then that's why I put at the end of it, I'm like, you might not have liked it, and if you don't, donate to somewhere, because that's what happens. Not to give away the punchline. And then, yeah, I just like that I disguise it as a dick joke. It's fun. I like my Karen joke a lot. I like Jenny, the nurse, stealing my underwear, because that was like, that day was so traumatic, and then to be able to make it funny for people to laugh at was pretty therapeutic. And then I really like my Black Lives Matter. I'm like, just like my special.
I need you to be more urban.
What?
This role calls for like a really urban, ethnic Black person. Can you be that for me?
Sure. Yes, I can.
That's great. We're still rolling.
LaShawanda, did you get those clams I asked for?
Ooh, child, I got them clams. I got everything on that list you gave me.
Good, LaShawanda. You know parties aren't complete without clams.
Okay, let's stop right there. Hey, Nicole, I need you to be blacker.
There was a McDonald's spot. It was a voiceover, and the casting director asked me to be more street, more urban, which is a euphemism for what white people think a Black person should sound like. Just like full blown, if you like, a caricature is what they wanted. And I remember the line was, I'll raise a French fry to your French fry. So in the audition, I was like, I'll raise a French fry to your French fry. And the casting director was like, a little more urban. I was like, I'll raise a French fry to your French fry. Thinking that like, I'm like making fun of you for asking me that. And they were like, perfect. And I was like, say what? And then I booked it, and I was like, oh no. So then I get to the job, and it was me and 3 other Black women, and we were talking, and 2 of them sounded like me. One was like from the South. One sounded like maybe she was from New York or something. And then we all get in the booth and they're like, action. And all of us like code switch to this like very caricature of a black person. And I was like, I don't want to do that because we're not a monolith. And there's other black people who talk like me. Like I'm not, you know, this like thing that exists that nobody else has or does or whatever. So at that moment I was like, I don't want to change who I am to appease what a casting director wants, because I can sound like me and then like through acting and my actions or maybe lowering my voice or raising my voice, I can get my point across and just not changing what I actually sound like. When people would be like, can you sass it up? I would try to do it the way Nicole would do it as opposed to what I thought that they were looking for. Because sometimes when I'd be like, oh, this, and like kind of mocking, they'd be like, yes. And I'd be like, yikes, I can't really explain how it feels to be like, oh, I'm going to make fun of what I think you want. And then they're like, that is what we want. And it's like, so I feel like you want a joke, but like the joke is that I'm a black person. So I don't want that, because it's like, if you like someone who sounds quote unquote more urban, find a person who speaks quote unquote more urban. Do you know what I mean? I think it's kind of like, I mean, James Franco, I think, was just cast as like Fidel Castro, who I believe is Cuban. It's like, what? I don't know his background, but maybe we find a straight up Cuban actor to do that. Maybe we find people who, and I know you can get into the argument and the minutia of like, then what is acting? And I'm like, acting is acting, but we could also just find representation. I feel like it's slow and better. It like dips, because like in the 90s, I remember as a kid, there was so much black television for me to watch. And then on the Asian side, I feel like when I was a kid, it was American Girl, Margaret Cho's show, which I loved so much. And then there was Fresh Off the Boat and Kim's Convenience. And then I was like, where's more? Why didn't more? And, you know, Nora from Queens. And then I'm like, where's the Hispanic shows? We had One Day at a Time. And then what? Like, I just feel like it happens. And then everyone goes, let's pat ourselves on the back. Can you imagine what we just greenlit and shot, you know, people of color. And then they get canceled and they're like, nobody's watching it. It's like, well, did you put the budget in to promote it and let people know to watch it? Or just because you canceled it doesn't mean you can't just do another one. Maybe that one didn't work. Maybe you try again. And don't market it as a black show or a Latina show. Just market it to everybody, because you don't have to make sure everybody knows it's different. Because if white wasn't the norm, then nothing would be different. We can talk about it all day. Well, I think more people of color, more queer people, more trans people, I think we non-binary people all need to be at those levels, because if there's representation at that level, then that person can look at someone making a choice and go, well, you just greenlit 5 shows with all white cast and 1 show with an all black cast. Why not mix it up and make the lead a person of color and let the sidekicks be white people? Or mix anything up. Or maybe this show of all white people, we just do non-traditional casting, or we start doing blind casting or something. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but yeah, I think you need people in those power positions to then help. But then you got to get people who haven't been in the room long enough, who've girl bossed, and they're like, the way I get things is by acting like a man. You're like, oh no. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, you gotta, it's tough. It's so tough. And there is no one way to make change happen. I mean, it's tough. And anytime I see a fat black woman who is in a part that I'm like, oh, why didn't I audition for it? I just go, whatever. You didn't audition for it, but they got cast. So like, there's still representation out there. Even if it's not you, someone else will see that and be excited about it and feel better about their bodies or their life. So but that's not to say that I'm not like, why not me? But I really try to keep it cool. I think of it this way, that like, not everything is for me, and I'm not for everything. And there is a reason as to why I didn't get it. There's a reason why the other person got it, and it's okay. You'll be okay. It didn't kill me that I didn't get that job. It didn't kill me that I got this other one instead. It's a lot of therapy. I try to keep my eyes on my own paper, and it's hard. And I know people are like, it's bullshit to say it's just like an honor to be nominated, but honestly, it is. It's so nice. I can't believe so many people were like, we like your stuff so much that we'll log into a website and say it. Click yes. The Boys. I love The Boys. I think The Boys is so gruesome, smart, and funny. I also really love P-Valley. I also love You on Netflix. I love Joe Goldberg. He was on Why Won't You Date Me? I have not met him in person. I'd love to, though. I really want to be in Sonic 3. They have a release date. I spoke to Ben Schwartz. I said, I'll literally be a person on the street that goes, damn, that blue thing went fast. That's all I want. That's literally all I want. I mean, this feels hacky to say, but Meg Stalter on Hacks, she, my God, is so fucking funny, and the choices she makes are so funny. And she's also just, like, nice. Okay, the thing I gasped at watching TV, I watched the second season of Love is Blind, and I don't know if that's super, super current, but there's a scene on the beach where a woman who had picked somebody else who didn't like that somebody else comes to the beach to like really upend this relationship. And I open mouth was like, what? Oh my, oh. I've also been watching The Office. I'm 15 years too late. I have no one to talk about it with, but there is a character who is so crucial to the show who moves. And I cried. And then the next episode where they're not there, I was like, so it's real? And they're not coming back? I was very, very upset. I gasped on The Boys when you find out some small child who his dad actually is. That show has so many gasps for me. Also, The Oval, almost every episode, I'm like, what? Okay, Tyler! I love The Oval's the wildest show on television, and it is so fun. The pilot has everything. Just like people hitting each other, sex, love, the mention of cults, and the White House built 80% to scale, so sometimes the ceilings look a little low. It is perfect. I love it. I'm super excited about the second season of Grand Crew. We start shooting next month. Oh, almost like exactly a month from now. September 12th we start. Let's see, what else am I excited for? I don't know. I'm excited to see what happens in my career next. I'm curious.